fellas, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers again. So this is part 2 of my Toro Wheelhorse 616Z zero-turn mower. As you know, I got this through a trade with another dude that I did business with prior on another trade. So I traded my Echo 403T backpack blower that I found in the garbage with Boba. I listed it for about $249. Nobody really wanted it, and I really wanted this. The guy only wanted $150 for it. Doesn't start or anything, right? But it's got an Onan opposed twin 16 horsepower engine in it. Super rare. This thing's old. It's from probably 1990, so it's about 30 years old. But I always wanted to work on a zero turn. You know, this is my first one ever. I'm a complete newbie at this. Complete newbie. So what's going to be interesting is that the series on this Toro 616Z is that I'm actually going to tell you guys what's wrong with it, and then you guys are going to help me fix this thing. Because honestly, instead of me spending like days and days of research trying to figure this crap out, right? I'm sure some of you guys have worked on Onans before. I'm going to be leaning heavily on my friend Kyle Biddle, Omega Doomship 64 on Instagram. He's well, I wouldn't know if he's an expert, but I know he's an expert on Briggs & Stratton because he's a certified tech, right? But he actually rebuilt an Onan horizontal opposed to it and put it on a snowblower. You guys can go check out his channel, and it's Kyle Biddle, I believe, on YouTube. And he's got videos on that Onan, you know? Anyway, so I'll tell you what's going on right now, man. Let me get you closer. So, to start off, there are no foot pedals, as you can see. Nowhere are there foot pedals. It's only the height adjustment for the mower deck. You got the parking brake here. It goes like that and like that. That, I guess, is the parking brake on. This is the parking brake off. You got the two levers to control forward, left, right, and backwards, right? This is the Onan opposed twin, 16 horsepower. It's called a Power Plus. It's got all Toro branding. You don't see the word Onan anywhere, at least not obvious. So it's a Toro Power Plus 16 pressure lube. What's really intimidating to me, fellas, is that I have never worked on a engine that has the can style coil. It's not the magneto on the flywheel or anything to get the spark. I'm not even really sure how it gets the spark. Is this coil attached to the camshaft for the rotation of the timing? But don't you need a distributor for that? I don't even know, see? And I have not checked whether or not this has spark yet because we haven't got this started. As you can see, it's got a little bit of carnage from some damage on the tailpipe, but that's just a tailpipe. You could literally just cut that and stick another pipe on there with a clamp. That's not a big deal at all. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about starting this mamma jamma. So what I've done so far, it has the starter with the built-in piggyback solenoid on it, right? I have checked with a multimeter on these terminals here, and I've got 12 volts going right into this main terminal here. That white tab you see where my finger is, that is the trigger. Okay, I'm supposed to have 12 volts going into there once I turn the ignition, right? Once I turn that, I should have 12 volts triggering the solenoid. I don't. I'll tell you what I did do. As you can see on the ignition switch over here, right? I have ascertained, like that word, ascertained. This brown wire here, using a multimeter, I have found out, I just stuck the prong in there, you know what I'm saying? And 1 to negative. And when I turn this switch, I do get 12.38 or something volts going out of that brown wire. It leads somewhere through a mess of crap, and it eventually turns into a white wire, which is this white wire right there that goes to the trigger tab there, right? I do not get 12 volts when I turn the key there. So then I thought it was this
relay here that was busted, right? Well, so the white wire is the wire that goes to the solenoid. The brown wire is probably leading, it leads to this, right? So theoretically, it should have 12 volts going in and 12 volts coming out of the white to go to the solenoid, right? It doesn't. There's no 12 volts going in, no 12 volts coming out. The only current I get is the red wire that has constant 12 volts going in there. When turning the switch, I get no action on that at all. All I get is the 12 volts going in. So I don't think the relay is busted, because if the relay was busted, I would have 12 volts going in. I don't even have that. So I think it has to do with the safety switches. Now, I'll tell you why I think it's a safety switch. Because over here is the brake, right? The handbrake. So when you go over here, you'll see this thing has been jumped. See? Somebody jumped this one, right? Over here, this is going to be a problem. Check it out. So this doesn't go anywhere, and it's hinky, right? I mean, it's attached and it's not touching, so it is hinky though. But check this out. This doesn't look like somebody cut it. It looks like it was accidentally cut by this moving around and stuff and not being secured. There's a short wire right there. See my thumb there? Right there. See? I mean my finger. See my finger? It's been spliced there. It's short. And it's supposed to be connected to that. And it's not. But, this thing is supposed to be attached where? I'm thinking this was attached there. See what I'm saying? Green and brown together. I'm thinking these two were together, but they're not. This has been jumped. This is cut. So who knows what happened with it, right? I mean, I'm almost thinking about just hardwiring it. So I'm thinking about this. Oh, I want to show you something else. Let me get the tripod for this one. Okay. So look, I've got my own jumper wire here. It's just a wire, right, with a clamp on each side. I'm going to take one side of it and put it on the positive terminal, okay? And I'm just going to take this part and I'm going to touch the trigger tab on this and see what happens. You ready? There you go. Engine cranks, and it feels good compression too. Check it out. So, engine cranks. I smell fuel. Feels like it has good compression, but it won't start. So I'm thinking, right, that I'm going to get a wire, put it connected onto the brown wire that comes out of the starter switch, right? Put it directly onto the trigger tab, right? So that way I can turn this and it'll crank just like that, right? And then whip out the spark plugs and see if I have spark on the spark plugs. Here's another thing. So this is the voltage regulator over here, right? Check this out. It's just like barely hanging on. I tested this with the multimeter too. I've got 12 volts on all three prongs. So it's got 12 volts going in there. It's got this side here. Look, it's just twisted in there. It's not even on a tab. I can just pull this out if I want, you know? So the contact is not great there. Contact is a joke over here. It's just barely hanging on, man. Middle one coming out, that should be the 12 volt regulated current, DC. The two side ones should be AC. I mean, I'm assuming like a Kohler, you know what I'm saying? The left and right should be AC current going in, being regulated, and then the 12 volts coming out the middle going into the coil. So the coil is in there, and it looks kind of hinky too, you know what I'm saying? I wish it would focus better, but anyway, you guys get the picture. So I don't know if there's any spark coming out of there. I'm gonna probably try that now, you know. But that scares the hell out of me because I've never done it before. I don't really work on cars very much, so I don't really understand how the can type coil works. But I suppose I will get started on getting a wire that I'm going to fabricate, and like I said, connect it somehow to that brown wire coming from the switch, right? And taking that wire and connecting it directly to the trigger solenoid tab. And that way I can turn the key and the engine will turn. And while I do that, I can check for spark on one cylinder each side. If all that doesn't work, I do need to kind of try to attach that spliced wire and see what happens, you know. If you guys have worked on a 616Z or similar before, or have knowledge on what the hell I'm supposed to do to get this thing, if I don't have spark, that is, you guys got to tell me what to do, man. I'm actually gonna need all of your help because, like I said, I'm a rookie to the Onan and I'm a rookie to a Z-turn. I have no idea. I mean, look, I've got some idea, right? But I don't have good ideas. All right, so check this out. So I know I get 12 volts switched current out of here. Once I turn the key to start, I get 12 volts shooting out of here. This is definitely my trigger wire. This brown one leads all the way to this part. This is the brown one I'm holding right here. This one right here, right? It's right there. Leads right to the switch. This brown one goes into the harness where the on toggle switch is, right? So somewhere in there, that 12 volts is not coming back out somewhere, like to touch the white wire that goes to the solenoid tab. So I'm gonna leave like an inch or two in case I have to reconnect it, right? But I'm gonna cut it right here. So that gives me like 4 inches of this brown wire that I can mess with. So I'm just gonna, before I do that, I better shut the toggle off because I zapped myself. So I'm gonna cut this right there. I'm just gonna do it. Now I'm going to pull this brown wire out of this harness so I have more length. There it is, right there. This is the brown wire that I know has 12 volts coming out. You know what? I'm going to splice this. I found this white wire in my box of parts. It's got a tab on it, you know, for a spade, right? Which I can just put right onto the solenoid trigger tab, right? I'm going to connect this to it temporarily. I'm going to get one of those thingamajigs so it doesn't touch anything. So, I've got the official thingamajig right here, just so it's secure. And so you know what? I'm gonna get my multimeter out right here. Okay. And I'm gonna stick this red part in here, the red thing. I'm going to touch the battery on the other side. Okay. And I'm going to turn the switch. Here. Can y'all see that? Right. I hope you can see that. Right. So I'm going to turn the switch now. Toggle on for power. Turning the switch. There you go. See? Do you see that? 12.37. Off. Now I'm turning the key. 12.26. So that's the trigger wire for sure. Wait, did you guys see that? I want to see if you see that. You didn't see that, I hear. There we go. Got to make sure you guys see this. What was I doing? All right, so black to black. Okay, check it out. I'm going to turn the key. There we go. We have 12.32 current coming out of this switch. So now my red wire, my white wire, has the voltage we need to trigger the solenoid to start the engine. Okay? Now I'm going to take this wire, stuff it through this firewall, if you will, or the frame. Turn the power off so I don't kill myself. I'm going to bring you over here now. Okay. I'm going to pull off this white wire off the tab. There we go. This is the tab that goes to the trigger tab. This white wire here is the one I just made, connected to the brown. So I'm going to connect this to it. Like I said, it's really tight. Wow, fits perfectly. Coolidge. That's almost stock, guys. Alright. Here we go. I'm going to bring you forward, and we're going to see if I turn that key now. Okay, I'm going to turn that key, and we'll see if the engine cranks. Here we go. Toggle, power, here we go. Now I turn the key, engine turns. So now I can take off that spark plug boot, take the spark plug out, reconnect the spark plug back onto the boot, touch metal, turn the key, and see if we have spark. All you need is spark, right? So I've got a ratchet. I'm going to pull this. Oh, come on. It doesn't even feel like it's connected. I don't hear a click or any kind of like metal touching. Well, there is metal there. Okay, but it's not very tight, so you don't hear a click, but God, I barely feel metal touching, you know what I mean? Alright, never mind. We'll just take the spark plug out, and we'll see. Be interesting to see what the condition of the spark plug is anyway. Holy cow, what the hell size is that? Oh, super thin one. The small kind now. Got a relatively new spark plug in it because you can see it's the this kind, the E kind. You know, that kind with the dual spark thing. I mean, it looks okay. It's not oily or nothing. Here. See that? It's not bad at all. No Earl. Honestly, look, that doesn't even feel like it's connected. No. Let's see if we have any spark. Let's see if we have spark. I guarantee you we have no spark. Hey, it's got spark. Decent, still. Ouch. All right, things are looking up, fellas. We have ignition,
We have spark. Who's looking up? Seriously, man. All you need is fuel now. I haven't checked the fuel system. How does this go back in there? This doesn't feel right. Yes, it is. It's going in somehow. I'm just doing this without looking. I don't want to put my head in front of the camera. You guys can't see. Gotta feel my way through things. People don't realize how hard it is sometimes to work on something and make sure that your audience is also has a good view of it, you know. Sometimes I have to work around the tripod and the camera. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? All right, so never mind what I said about, you know, no contact or whatever. It gets fine contact. Okay. I guess. So I'm going to try the other side now. So, I'm going to try cranking it some more. We've got choke on, but I've been trying that for a while. I'm going to take choke halfway down. Whoa, 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 whoa! Holy cow! Holy cow. Holy cow. Can you guys believe that? I will say this though. The blades were moving. There's no engagement of the blades. It's on all the time. Is that right? I mean, I don't see any levers to get it to, you know what I mean? I don't see any levers to make it engaged. Is there no PTO? That's complete crazy talk that there's no PTO. You get the blades going on the whole time? Every time? Forever? How about that, fellas? Is that amazing, man? This thing runs! And you know what? I didn't hear any whining. As you guys saw, it was moving backwards a little bit on its own because the handles were just freely moving, you know what I mean? I have to hold it. But I was worried because I've got like a couple of throw carpeting, not carpeting, but you know, floor mats on the floor. So I was worried that the floor mats were going to get stuck into the blades and go nuts, you know, and then I'll have a bigger pickle, you know.
So I'm gonna move these floor mats out of the way and get on there, you know, and see if it moves forward and backwards. How about that? All right, so I'm gonna get on it and start it up and see if it moves forward and backwards. Holy cow. Guys, can you believe it? Can you believe it? Can you believe I got this damn thing working? Maximum stokage. One episode and all, that's all it took? Crazy, right? I am speechless. I will say, it takes a little getting used to on how to move that stuff around. It's very sensitive. Transmission feels pretty strong, you know? When I was going backwards and then forwards again, I almost did a wheelie. Seems pretty strong, man. I'm above the moon, fellas. This is great. Fantastic. I gotta go show my wife. She's like this. That's great, honey. All right, one episode. That's all it took, man. Got it running, moves, mows. Well, I might move all my cars and see if I can mow the lawn with it. That would be awesome. Anyway, this is great. I guess those spliced wires are all from the handbrake safety switch. So it starts and runs without that stuff. So I'm just going to clean that up and not connect them. I'm going to keep it that way. But how about that, man? Eventually I will try to fix the tailpipe or something like that. Actually, this is not one episode. This is actually 2 episodes. This is the 2nd episode. The 1st episode was me getting it. But how about that? 1 episode of actually troubleshooting, you know? Well, never mind. I guess I don't need your help. See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers. Hey guys, support my channel, buy a sticker. Also follow me on Instagram at Mowers Blowers. Check out my website, mowersblowers.com. See you guys on the next project. Have a great day.